First episode of the podcast. Here goes nothing. I am using my laptop right now, so the quality is not as good as it could be, but I just don't care. It's not about making it look the prettiest. But I'm really excited about this. Erin's gonna hop on in just a second. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so it's just one of those things like do what you can with what you have. So here I am. Can you hear me?
Hell yeah, I can hear you. I'm like, girl, you look so cute. And I look,
I thought you were gonna be in your bonnet already. It's like way past your bedtime.
girl, you already know it is. You already know. You look good.
Thanks. I'm still in my work face.
I was like, but what are you eating though?
Beef and rice and kimchi.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
for I fucking forgot to heat up the beef and it's freezing cold when I'm so hungry, so well, whatever.
Oh, yeah. You got to be on the next level hungry to eat something cold like that.
I feel like you're either somebody who can eat like things cold or you have to have it heated up.
I'm like a lukewarm person. It's weird.
So you
I
can like
don't.
leave it in your car for a couple hours and it's perfect.
Okay, fun fact. I actually did that for my peak week for Sasquatch. I I got myself like like that's what people don't know either. It's like legit. I gave myself food poisoning on an accident because I did that, except I did that with fish and rice, but I didn't know. So,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
you
like
called.
right before your show.
I swear to God, you called it, dude. I swear, like peak week. So like when we try to like go through a carb phase, it was supposed to be, gradually at the beginning of the week, but no, we had to do it like that day. That that
Oh,
day. It was horrible.
didn't you
But
win
I
it
mean,
overall anyways?
I did, thank God. Thank God. I mean, it was crazy because my body, it didn't respond at like it didn't spaz out like I thought it might, but it held on. It did pretty good. You feel me?
You
It
look
did pretty
good
good.
too. What are you like 2.5 weeks post show? 2 weeks?
Pretty much. Pretty
How
much.
do you
Pretty
feel?
much. I don't even know, girl. I don't even know. It is so weird. It is so weird that we're having this conversation versus like our conversations that's always like, oh, so what national show are you gonna do like this year? Or like, are you in prep for this? Like, I don't know. It's a totally different feeling, dude. I'm just trying to go back to the gym because regardless win or lose, that's what I do. But
Yeah.
I'm just like still taking it in day by
I'm
day.
so happy for you. Does it feel it has to feel like at least I would imagine it's like less pressure in a weird way?
It is very weird. Like I feel like no pressure,
Yeah.
like at all. So I think that's the only thing that kind of changed was like we work because it's we like, and I say we because I feel like so I guess if like we started this friendship or this bodybuilding like sisterhood or friendship back in 2020. But it's weird because I feel like throughout this journey or process of bodybuilding, you meet so many women, right? And we all have like the same goals and stuff because ultimately everyone's goal is kind of the same. Doesn't matter how you kind of get there. Like we all want pretty much the same thing. But when it came to you, I don't know, our connection was just on a whole different level. It was super strange how we kind of were just like, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. And I don't care how long it takes, but I'm Arin and I'm Crystal. What's up?
I feel like the universe doesn't miss when there's like certain connections to be made. And I feel like that was just one of them because we align on so many different things, just the way we approach our preps, the way we approach life in general. So there was
Yeah.
definitely a reason for that. But like you have definitely been one of my biggest inspirations throughout all this. Like even with all the pros that I watch and everything, just
Yeah.
your energy and your drive and just watching the work that you do every single day. You don't ever miss a beat. Like it's been really cool to
Mm.
watch. And like as a
Thanks.
friend though, it's been like so it's been so cool just to watch you thrive because like come on, we always knew it was gonna happen. It was just a matter of like when.
Like when?
Dude, even like my friends and like my teams, like everybody, every time you go to a national show, they're like, what's the word? They're all texting me. I'm like, I don't know yet. I don't know.
Like, I really don't. Oh God, I don't.
But yeah, that was
It's
a
been
crazy year when we met because that was like COVID year.
COVID. Everything was so different. Like workouts were different, training was different, like just everything. Like the rules, like what is an athlete's meeting that we have to go to? Because mine was online. Like
Yeah.
everything was online. And then when we did our show, I know you probably did like maybe a show or two prior to that. You were
I
still were
only
very,
I only did one. That was my first competition season. And the first show that I did was
yeah,
the Patriots in Vegas. And
yeah,
that was a crazy story because they shut the whole shit down. And
yeah.
Tamer and them had to go find a new venue for the show, like at
Yes.
11:30 at night. And they ended up having it in this little, it was like a cigar bar, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that got raided. Like we were all, I was my first show and we're standing
Hmm.
outside in Vegas and it's like 112 degrees
Hot.
and we're all just melting. And finally we get in there and it was just, it was, it, the cops showed up and raided the show in the middle of the show. They like shoved all the bikini girls on stage, like handed us our medals and told us to get out. So that was
Yeah.
my first show. And then Tahoe outdoors in Squaw, where you took
Squaw
Logan
Valley.
Hall, that was my second show. So yeah, I was fresh, but I feel like you already had like a couple seasons under your belt, maybe.
I didn't, okay, so I did have two shows, but those shows were like just local shows. Like just in my town, whatever town I was in at the time. I did
Were they NPC shows though?
They were not
Okay.
affiliated with NPC at all. So that was the fun part about like my bodybuilding journey, I guess, how it started. Because like I didn't know what an NPC was. Like I didn't know what IFBB was. Like I didn't know any of it. I
Either.
just Literally, I just knew that like, oh, training was fun. Oh, my body's kind of responding. Like, oh, genetics. Like, I didn't know anything about anything. I just thought that the whole process was fun. So then when like Troy, which my fiance, he was just kind of like, I think you can do this bodybuilding stuff. I was like, all right. So then I literally went into like a 7-month prep and I got on stage, then I effing won. And I was like, oh, okay. Because like everyone goes through those show preps where they like one thing I mean, everyone's gonna do it. I try to tell people not to do it. I don't know how you could avoid not doing it because seasoned or not, like we do it. You look at your competition, and my
Yeah.
ass was looking at people, and I'm like, oh my God, like she's so pretty. She has boobs. She has this cute button nose. She has legs. She has a butt. Like I was like not necessarily like, depicting my body down or like breaking myself down, but I was like looking at every other girl's features that I thought was beautiful. So like I really didn't understand the sport. You know what I'm saying? So like what I thought was like bomb, I guess it really doesn't it didn't matter as much. So then like did that show, did another show, local show that wasn't a part of NPC. I stinking won that too. And then like COVID had hit. Like I wasn't really supposed to do Tahoe show. I was just going to go back to that same local show that I had already done. And I was going to do figure. So I went through like a whole bulk, dude. Like I got big, I was lifting heavy, I was eating a lot, and then COVID had hit. And then I'm like, this is like kind of a bit much. Like I don't necessarily like it gave me a whole like different respect for like a bodybuilder. Like I swear to God, eating is just a chore in and
It
of itself.
is.
Just eating.
I'm not even eating
So,
that much right now, and I feel like it's a chore. It's like all the time.
oh gosh, yeah. And like just meal frequency at the same time. Like I just it was hard. So then I was just like, okay, like our friend Austin Epsy, he's like an IFBB pro now, classic
Yeah.
physique, doing super, super well his first like pro year. but he was like talking about the Tahoe show. And then I was like, what's that? And then he's like, oh, it's this show in like August, da 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 da. Like he was gonna do it. I don't really know what happened, but I was like, okay, boom. This was like May 15th, 2020. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I already have the muscle mass. I'm just kind of thick right now. Like, let's just do high reps, a bunch of cardio, and let's just try to like let's just try to freaking cut. And I remember like our shows kept on getting pushed back because COVID. And then I remember for Tahoe show, Chris, the promoter, and I'm not gonna say like, but remember he was in a situation where they were trying to find a venue, and the day
Yeah,
before and that was like, okay, I respect these promoters because even if they rushed us on stage or whatever the case may be for COVID season, like they got our asses on stage and off stage. Like that's one thing that they did do.
yeah.
And I remember talking to him and he was like, I just told them that we were going to get married and we had 500 guests that were going to attend the wedding. And I was like, you're so ill. Like, this is like my first
It's
NPC
gonna be
show.
bikini theme wedding.
Oh, that was like so awesome. And then I met so many cool people. And that was just like the start, like, of like my NPC journey. I thought the outside shit was cool. It matched my suit perfectly. The wind was blowing in our hair perfectly. Like I had a
When
blast.
realistically, when are we ever gonna be able to do another show outside in Squaw Valley though? So that's kind of epic. It's pretty dope when you
Right.
think about it. Yeah,
Right. That was like a once in a lifetime thing. And like that feel was just like, I don't know if it was just a lack of understanding or just absorbing and taking in all that fresh goddamn air. That air was so wonderful.
some about the mountains
Something about that green grass and the crisp air, bruh. Like
changed
was
my life. I was never the same.
it was great. That was an experience.
That's crazy because you brought up like how you were looking at a bunch of competitors, and that's like something that
Hmm.
I still do that, but
Yep.
my perception of it and my reasoning for it has definitely shifted because I remember my
Yeah.
first couple shows doing that and getting so far in my head, like
Yeah, you freak yourself out.
should I be so anxious and like it was just not good for me. But also like you see somebody's physique and you're like, oh, they have a their physique is the best. It's the best
Yep.
physique up there, but you don't
Yep.
actually know what you're looking at or how to gauge what that means for your division. Like I didn't know
Exactly.
about fuck at that time. Like you just
Yeah.
don't know. You there's no
Mm-mm.
way going into your first show you can know all the things. It takes a long time to learn the
Oh
ropes.
gosh, it takes so long. Like I said, at first, like I would look at bodies and be like, dang, she has this, this, this. But then like as I slowly like got into the sport, and at that point, I didn't care if you were like NPC or if you were an IFBB, if you were bikini or figure, because at the time there wasn't really wellness. But
Yeah.
I was just looking at everything, not necessarily knowing that being a student to the sport was like a thing, I guess, but I was just trying to take in everything. So then when I started finding competitors that I kind of liked and I related to, or I just like liked their journey, whatever it was, or whatever captivated me towards them, like I would be like, okay, like boom, Ashley Cotwalzer, I want her midsection. Boom, I want Maya's calves. And then I'm like, boom, but I want,
Yeah. Like you
Ivana's
could pick and choose
shoulders.
like, oh, that's how my glutes are gonna look, just like hers.
Exactly, exactly. So then I like it was a different view of how I was looking at these competitors because like I started understanding aesthetics or I started understanding the sport and I started understanding like the actual work that people put in and how long it actually takes and how we all kind of know like what we're going through, except we don't talk like we just know. Like you go through the prep, I go through the prep, and it's equally as freaking hard, but
Yeah.
there's that mutual respect. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I gained respect for like other competitors during the process of being a competitor. And then like even getting beat too, dude, like it's you can't get mad at that either, because it's like you went through the same
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. It helps. It made me like the sport a little bit more. And then it made me literally like you. Like I feel like it's been 4 years. It's about to be 5 years, dude,
I know,
since like
bitch.
we've been like, oh my
That's
God, like
crazy.
fit junkies, like my bikini bestie. Like it's crazy. Like
All
so
I like,
consistent.
all I know is at that show, like you kicked my ass in the overall, and it was like all because of you're posing and like you're just your sass up there. Like you just walk in and you just own the room. And I remember like taking away because we hadn't even met at that point. That
Nope.
was my main takeaway from that show was like your posing sucks. You need to figure it out. So, and
Dude,
then we met, and yeah, the rest is history. But that's so
I
crazy.
totally what?
Almost 5 years.
Hella, almost 5 years. Like I remember like we might have taken pictures and stuff, but I just remember one, I think it might have been you realistically, because this is when I was like I was baby in the gym. I was still very, very new with like I guess just proper form and stuff. I don't know if it was you, but I think you were telling me about my calf raises. You
Yeah,
were
maybe.
correcting me on my calf raises because I used to do this pulse thing. I used to
Yeah.
pulse, and you were telling me to stop pulsing because I don't know if it was like my Achilles or I was compensating or taking away. And then I remember, like, okay, like she's dope. So then I remember, like, I don't know if that was you, but then I definitely remember sparking a conversation about
Yeah.
just muscle maturity and how you looked. And I was like, how old are you, bruh? Because you just, I was like, because you just look different. I was like, you just
You
like
look
look
different because you look old
different.
as fuck.
No, but like that's what sometimes like I even tell people now, like I can't explain to you what it is. It's just a look. And
You're
when you
talking
get
about
the
like muscle density or muscle maturity,
exactly,
huh?
muscle
Yeah.
maturity. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
could totally tell, like even my first show compared to everybody else on stage, because like there is like two other girls that were around or roughly the same age as you, but they just didn't have the conditioning that you had because you were pretty fucking shredded if
I
you think
got
about it.
really,
Like
I was like the leanest I've ever
you
been
were
at that.
exactly, you were pretty lean. And I remember just looking at your legs and I'm like, wait, can't like that's one thing that I knew, like, because I was like 25 or something like that. And I'm like, I mean, I know I'm like 1 year in the gym, maybe a year and a half, like specifics, and but she just looks different. I knew what muscle maturity, but
Yeah.
I've never seen it, especially like on a woman. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm like, okay. So when
It's,
you're like, okay, do this with your calves, I was like, who are you? I'm like, how are you? Like, how old are you? What's popping?
you know what else is really good to do with your calf raises is do like a loaded weighted stretch in between your
Mm,
sets. Yeah, that'll
mm.
that'll definitely help. That's so it actually really surprises me that you just kind of started working out in the gym because I feel like you're one of the most athletic people I know.
Oh, I do have like a fit background. Like I have like
Yeah.
JUCO basketball and like track and stuff like that. Like
Okay.
I've always been an active person and I've always been like in sports. But yeah, no, I've only been doing this bodybuilding thing about 5 years, 6 years now. Yeah, yeah.
That's so dope. You're such a gangster. Somebody asked a question for you. Well, there was a couple. They wanted to know
Oh God,
when
I heck
when are you
forgot
getting
it.
when are you getting married? And that your proposal was the cutest thing they'd ever seen in their whole lives. It really was.
LOL.
It really was.
Thanks, dude. That was very shocking. I honestly, you gotta ask him that. I'm like totally not like I'm so chill. I'm not like a bridezilla. I'm
Yeah.
not like I need this particular date. Like you have to do it and it has to be perfect. I feel like we're both like vibing. We're very
Mhm.
much chilling right now and we're still very much fresh and new. That it's just like
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know,
no
maybe
rush.
not any rush at all. Like I'm thinking maybe next year-ish. We're thinking like we know what we want to do. Like it's definitely going to be a destination wedding. Like we're going to be away and we definitely do want to make a vacation of it. But I just whenever the time's right, like whenever literally whenever Troy wants to do it, then I'm down. Like that's how nonchalant I am. Like remember when you were like, we're going to do a Q&A. This is all about the bikinis and what I'm like, okay, your daddy. Like whatever. I'm such a I'm such like I'm so like boring, but I'm not. You
You're
feel me?
not
I'm just
though.
you feel me? I'm not too picky about certain things. As long as I got my nails and my hair, I'm smooth.
I feel that. I gotta have my lashes. I always say lashes before hair because if I have to choose one, the lashes are going on first.
Oh, my hair, because I gotta like, you feel me? I gotta
During the day? No, no.
Yeah, girl.
So what?
So-
Okay, so do you and I have a couple questions just for myself because we haven't really caught up
Oh,
a lot lately, but
uh,
I want to ask you a couple things. But the first thing I want to ask is like, do you and Jamie have a plan for what's next, or are you guys just kind of in a what are y'all
we're
doing?
we're kind of like in both. So it's both. Like we do have like a plan. I mean, we've never not had a plan. But we've talked, like I've always prior to chosen like a show and then built towards that show where this is completely different. It's like let's build, let's see, and then we have options, whether it was like NPC, nationals, and now IFBB. I'm really not too, like I said, I'm not too picky, like, and I'm not in any rush at all. But we do have a plan. I'm gonna go through a growth period for a while and see like if I can like turn my newbie gains into like actual like dense gains just because the response was like like I my progress was very very well and damn that got stinking crash incident that kind of like
Yeah,
messed up the progress. I'm not going to say it messed up because everything happens for a reason,
yeah,
but
you
I'm
had a great
trying,
outcome.
yeah, I'm trying to make up for lost time,
Yeah.
so I think just early next year-ish. Early
Okay.
next year. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Are you feeling better? Like, are you fully recovered from that crash now?
Okay, so I am, but I'm not. So like what happened was so I had got whiplash, right? So if I'm driving, like I went to my left. So when I went to my left and like ricocheted back, I carry a lot of tension, like my stressors. Like if I get stressors, like my body responds. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that I definitely noticed, like being with Jamie and stuff. I'm more like body aware. I was already body aware, but like I understand like what causes my stressors and where it's going to attack before like I could even be like, oh, I need to go to treatment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay, but I still have like a creak in my left side. And then also like my alignment's kind of jacked. So my treatment's just a little bit different, I guess. Instead of me like being like, oh, just do my legs and my glute and like occasionally like just work out my back, it's like my whole posterior side now.
What are you doing for treatment? Are you guys getting hitting up massage or
Pretty
acupuncture,
much, you
chiropractic?
know, massage, cupping, scraping, what is it, compression, all that stuff, red light therapy. Yeah, I was doing physical therapy. Like when I did have the crash, I went through physical therapy for like 11 weeks. So I'll probably end up doing PT like
Yeah,
once every month or something
that's
now.
what's up. When I blew out my knee, I just did like all my physical therapy and then some and like
hmm
with it, and that's how you'll get back quick for sure.
Well, that's what people don't get. Like, or and I've understood, I understand it too. Like what I do when it comes to like recovery, it's totally a luxury, because I could
Yeah.
totally do things by myself, but it's like I choose to have someone else do it for me because I'm lazy. So, okay, so me, and this is my question for you, and then we can go back to me if you want to. But this is me for you. Have you, because you're on a new venture yourself. You once were a coach and now you're on a new venture. Have you spoken of that? Do people know? Because like I had people kind of ask, that we have our mutual followers, and I just am like, my name's been an I and in it. Just know that she's about to, I was like, just know that shit's about to be lit because she hasn't really posted it. And I feel like if she wanted you specifically to know, she would say it. So I know, but I'm not going to tell you.
This is why you and I vibe so hard. Yeah, I mean, I made a post about it. that I was stepping away from it. And there was, girl, there was just so many pivotal life changes that happened over the past couple of years. Coaching was an amazing experience for me. Like I'm so grateful for the whole ride. It's been
Yeah.
really awesome. I've learned so much. I've made a ton of mistakes. I've also made a ton of amazing friends and people I would consider family through it.
Yeah.
And I also, I coached myself for a long time too. So it was a
True.
fun thing to do. And honestly, I just had an opportunity just fall into my lap. Like it just went boom. And I was like, okay, I'd be kind of stupid not to take this. And I'm
Hmm.
actually really loving it. It's been a nice switch for me. And I actually didn't realize how good the transition was gonna be for me because it's like my body's responding to everything right now. Like I feel so weightless. I hired a coach so I don't have to think about anything at all. I don't have to think about I just execute and be an athlete. And so that's been a really cool shift for me that I didn't realize was like so needed. But
Hmm.
I'm loving just having like the structure. I'm having a great time on my new job. It's like so fun. I just go on little road trips all day.
Dude, yeah, I have people being like, what does she do? Like, she was just on a plane, but then she was just driving in her Jeep in the mountains, like with her dogs. So I'm like, and someone told me, like, how you got this job. Okay, which is like once in a lifetime. Like, I'm not gonna like say things in life or like luck because there is probability, but that shit was like luck. That shit, how you got this was like, wait a minute.
Dude,
So I think
Wu-Tang
like
is for
you were
everyone.
like, but I'm saying like I thought like you just were fly like you just happened to be on an airplane coming
Yeah.
back from Jersey
Yeah, I was coming
or
back
something.
from me and
Nationals or
Christy. Yeah.
something.
Me and Christy were on a plane on the way back from Jersey, and I was on the very back aisle, and the dude next to me was like, he was having a great time. Like, this guy had the best energy. It was the best possible flight pairing situation you could imagine. Like, if you had to sit next to someone,
Hmm.
this guy was the one. He was it. And he's like, can I take a picture of your Wu-Tang tattoo? My barber loves Wu-Tang. She's gonna freak out. I was
Oh,
like, sure.
I'm weak.
And yeah, we just started talking, and that essentially 2 days later I jumped on a call with his boss and got hired, and they flew me out later that week. So I was like, I'm just going where the wind blows right now. And it was just something that
Yeah.
I jumped. I don't know. I just felt like the opportunity presented itself, and I just felt, do you ever have just like everything in your body is like jump at that? Like, yeah,
Just do. Don't
go.
even think. Impulsive. Go.
Yeah.
You know what? There's only been a couple of times in life that it's been like that, and every single time I just, it's been great. You know, like Superstar, you know, when she's like, there's two kinds of people that just stick their toe in the water, and then the ones that just jump
Yeah,
in.
that's
I
me.
normally stick my toe up in that water, but there's been a couple of times where I've just kind of,
Yeah.
ah,
I will say this too, though. Like, towards this, honestly, this last year, I'll just kind of keep it very vague, but there were a lot of challenges for me personally,
hell
as
yeah.
everyone has a lot of personal challenges. But like, you would never really know it unless you were really close to me, kind of what the details were, and that's none of anyone's business. But
Yeah.
it was really affecting my ability to be a good coach. And I started to notice that because like I wasn't doing the type of research that I used to, and I wasn't putting as much time and energy into the little things that, went into little details were getting slipped and my communication was slipping. And so that to me was not a good feeling either. Like,
Yeah.
so it was the right thing to do all in all. I think everything was just kind of pointing to that. And so that's been the hardest part for me, honestly, the transition away from my clients.
Hmm.
Like I love those girls. Like I really love them. So, that's been tough, but it's also been good because everyone's like got their new coaches that they're working with, and it's like a fresh start.
Exactly.
So I feel like it's just, I don't know, it's a good thing. It's like all these little seeds are sprouting up everywhere for everyone. So
I feel like too, if you were to be a douche about your exiting, or if you were to not take accountability for your mistakes and or hiccups, because like you said, you would have to be close to you to freaking know. And I'm like, you need to give yourself grace with this, because I feel like I know.
yeah,
And then it's just like I said, like I totally understand, and I want to commend you for like being like, this is where I slipped up and this is where I did wrong, XYZ. But I want you to know, in the midst of all that stuff happening, even like, and like we can even be vague, but this was like the very, very first kind of like not coachable. I'll call it a coachable moment with that one athlete that kind of, the very, very first situation, which off camera we can talk about, and then it'll make sense.
yeah, no,
But
I got you.
I feel like you've even tried to, like, even with situations like that, and that was not this year, it was the year prior to, it was like 2022. You've always communicated to your clients on how you could do better, what you could do better. Like you've never not acknowledged your faults before, during, and or after the
Yeah,
process. So I want you to
that's
just know
true.
that, like, I understand that this is probably the hardest part, is the actual separation of the clients, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, but don't neglect the fact that you've always been professional and always given them the respect to be like, this is where I did wrong. Or even if it took a day of reflecting, you've always acknowledged, like, okay, well, these were the reasons, or this was the reasoning, excuse me, of like my actions. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't ever discredit yourself as like a good coach, because like you're human. Like I've always told you that too. Like you're human, and it's okay to have like human feeling and human experiences. Like
Yeah,
we're not perfect,
definitely.
but you definitely address it very, very correctly. And I commend that about you, is like, you would have to know, it's like you choose to be positive, like we choose this, like the shit is freaking hard, like it's not that I always am or that you always are, it's that you choose to, with whatever, I guess, is
Yeah.
going on in your life. So,
Well,
and on
that's
top of
cool.
that too, like regardless of the shit, like you even went through prep, like you even went through prep and still did shows and no one even knew. Like
The thing about it is
like no
though,
one
like
even knew.
I definitely don't recommend doing that, to be honest, because I did not bring the best look that I could have, and I knew that. Like when you're carrying a lot of stress in your body, like you're saying, it
Hmm.
physical things, it does trigger physical things, and
Yeah.
you're just not gonna look your best. But yeah, it is what it is. And thank you for saying those things. I love you. But, one of my philosophies, at least in life, or like something that I try to always do, is at least reach out to anybody, like
Hmm.
there's an opportunity to try to see some common ground or like talk things through, like just hash it out or whatever. I'm always going to reach out and try that. So at least like, you know, I I feel like that's an important thing to take away from all of it too, like you're saying about the coaching. Like
Hmm.
that's what I look for in a coach too, at least is somebody that I can at least like have good open communication with,
Hmm.
try to try to hash it out if anything goes wrong.
Oh God, dude, that's like my new like I was just telling Troy not too long ago, just with the experiences that I've had, in particularly with in the past couple of months, just with certain individuals and stuff. If I can't have like, and it's not a disagreement, but if I can't even have an adult conversation with you and you can't communicate with me, then I don't even want to, we don't even need to have we don't even need to have this
Yeah.
discussion, because it's not an argument. Like, but if we're trying to be here, like, how are we supposed to get there if we're not talking, or if there's no communication with it, or if you just want to avoid it or jump ship or like divert or get defensive? Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to do it. It takes too much energy to try to do that. And I'm one of the ones that are like, I'm way too understanding. It's too logical to not have like, you know. a conversation. So it's just like if the communication isn't there, then that's totally fine. I don't even
We have
I
like
don't want to
we have
do
like
it.
5 minutes before we get kicked off this video because I forgot to upgrade the thing to
Yeah,
the
I don't even know how this thing goes, girl.
so
So
we're gonna
you
get
would,
kicked off. But speaking about communication, one of the things I was gonna ask you, and we can like finish off with this, but
yeah.
I was gonna ask you about your new coach and like what do you feel like the biggest, most impactful changes that you guys were able to make together, like for your last season, like in a
Oh, wow.
nutshell. And
Okay,
if
so
you can't answer it in 5 minutes, we'll pick it up on the next one.
I mean, we can pick it up too, but if I could like sum it up, ooh, my neck. If I could sum it up, I remember when I had my okay, so this was like after like Legion Sports Fest, okay, and I had just got off stage. I did my interview, and I don't know, I saw Jamie, right? And she was at her little VIP table, and I don't know where this came from, bro, because I was nervous as hell. And I've seen Jamie like throughout this whole 5 years.
Yeah,
I've been like even before they had all these seminars and stuff like that. Fit Body Fusion used to have seminars before anybody, and I was going to those things. So it's like I've never had the balls to be like, hi. But that day, I was just like, boom. I don't even know what I said. I was just like, dude, I'm so fond of you. Like, you're such the goat. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Arin. Like, I don't know when I'm going to need a coach, but I swear to God, I want you as my coach. And I would just love you and Rihanna. And because she was captivated by my posing, right? And Rihanna's my posing coach, and she has been for 2.5 years. So that's how I kind of like had the balls to be like, okay, Jamie, like, I kind of want to have a discussion with you because Rihanna,
yeah.
I was like, I've been connected with her for so long. So at that point in time, like, when we had talked, after that, she was just like, okay, here's my number, let's have a consultation call, whatever. So I kind of waited it out, called her, and I was just like, one thing that I've seen you do with girls is you change their life on stage and off stage. And I just want that. And I remember it was 2022 and she like got so many girls qualified for Olympia. And these girls had different bodies. It wasn't like these bodies are like top 10 Olympians. No disrespect towards the bodies at the time, but I'm just like, what is the secret? What am I missing? So
Mm,
then I got my consultation and I told her that that's what I wanted. I wanted my life to be changed on and off stage. So that's one thing that I can honestly say is that she helped me learn how to be more responsive and less reactive.
mm,
So like definitely think about it. So I think when I'm very, very happy, I'm very, very happy. Or if I'm very, very sad, I'm very sad. If I'm confused, I try to be calm or I try to meditate because I actually think about it. Like I'm not impulsive anymore. Old Aaron would have just been like, fuck it, two titties in a bucket. Like, let's just do this stuff. Or let me just go spark a blunt or something. I don't, or join. I don't freaking know, versus like now it's just like, I'm really going through the process of things, and that has helped me so much because I can identify what is wrong with me, whether I have a stomach ache, whether I have like, I'm bloated, or whether like my sleep, or whether I haven't recovered. Like, I could totally identify it. Like,
mm,
example, like I told Jim, I was like, dude, I'm having stomach ache. She's like, what's in your diet? I was like, I've been using like powdered onion or onion powder and like granulated garlic. And she's like, take that out. That's like two factors of stuff. I took that shit out. I have not had stomach ache since.
mm,
I swear to God, the woman she's a genius, you know? So she's helped me off stage like 100% to the point where it's just like I'm very much excited and I'm so fortunate. I always say like, Jamie, thank you for taking me as a client because you didn't have to, because she's of the caliber of that she is, that she can pick and choose whether she
mm.
really wants to take you or not.
Yeah.
So considering the fact that she took a chance on me, I was just like, I
What
love
do you
you.
mean? What do you mean take a chance on you? Come on
Well,
now.
you know what I'm just saying, like there are girls, like I'm not done. Like I know my potential, but I definitely
Yeah,
know there are stepping stones that I still have to go through, especially
absolutely.
now
But
being a new pro.
you definitely
So,
earned your spot where you are. So, you know what I mean? Don't take
yeah,
that, don't take that for granted. I mean, that was all it
definitely.
you put in that work. You did that.
I definitely I tried. So I will say, and quick, That's my off stage, but on stage, if someone really knew, like my this entire time, my feedback has been grow your glutes, or I'm overarching or that upper outer. If someone were to beat me, it would be from the back, and no one ever knew that that was like a insecurity of mine, just because my confidence overweighs that. But I will say this year, I've had, my head judges lights out, my back pose. If anything, I have to kind of fix my front pose right now, but my back pose, something that I've been like working this entire time, is lights out. It's fucking perfect. So, and we did that within a matter of like 8 months. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I'm
so
highly,
dope.
highly happy.
Hell yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for coming on. It's gonna kick us off in a second, but we'll do this again
yay.
in like a few days.
Fuck yeah. I'm excited. I'm waiting for the podcast that you